early season swoons giving way to mid-season success. A reigning conference finalist, the USL's successful status quo. And a newcomer intent on shaking American soccer's foundation to its very core. OKC Energy, Las Vegas Lights, the USL Game of the Week, coming up next. Downtown Oklahoma City shimmers off in the distance, 94 degrees in Oklahoma today. Welcome to the USL Game of the Week on ESPN News. Two teams beneath the playoff lines, desperately looking for 3 points. OKC Energy taking on Las Vegas Lights, the first of their four-game road swing. Hello, everybody, and welcome alongside Devin Kerr, Mike Watts with you. If there's one thing we figured out about Las Vegas in their expansion season, we have no idea what's going to happen next.
Vegas, baby. Expect the unexpected. If you haven't had the ability to see them yet, strap yourselves in because you're in for a bumpy ride. They've been interesting. They were the talk of the Western Conference. They cooled off, but they found their way back, and they're finding their form now. OKC, on the other hand, only one win in their opening 9 matches, but Steve Cook has stuck to his principles and has gotten his boys back on track. The reason they've been able to do that is because of their chemistry and cohesiveness, and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of lady luck on your side. That's what he told us. But look, he hasn't really changed anything tactically, and you can see that. They're able to get things going forward and coming back, both sides of the ball. That's the reason why we've seen them make that rise in the Western Conference. On the other side of things, Las Vegas, they got out of their comfort zone. They were riding that high wave of wins, and they started win hunting. Head coach Isidro Sanchez said, listen, we needed to stick to our philosophy, get back to basics. They went those 2 months without a win. You saw them all over the board. Now, they had some good ties, but a lot of very bad losses. We haven't seen that as of late, and they want to continue this ride. Also have a couple games in hand, staring at the teams above them.
Makes these road games crucial, and Jose Barril crucial for OKC's midfield.
And you see it right there. The packing accuracy that he carries is absolutely untold. You can't understand how important he is in the middle of the field. Only a goal and an assist on the year, but that's not an accurate representation of what this young man can bring to this squad. He controls all the strings going forward and coming back.
Could say the same thing about his counterpart midfield for Las Vegas, Daigo Kobayashi.
One of the best things I've ever heard a coach say to me is that he's our heartbeat, he's our rhythm. Las Vegas literally has the DJ in their locker room pregame, and they say that when the song is beating appropriately on the pitch, Daigo Kobayashi is the one who's controlling that tempo. You're going to see that. He's the one that is responsible for all of their counterattacks going forward and the mainstay defensively keeping them organized.
A longtime veteran leading a Las Vegas side that needs a win tonight against an OKC side whose early season tailspin is over, but their 3-year playoff streak is in jeopardy. For Las Vegas, they're out to prove themselves. It's a 4-game road swing. It could prove season-defining. OKC, Las Vegas, Game of the Week, coming up next. See. Oh, there we go. Like you've never seen it before, Las Vegas style. Riding Harleys is El Chalice, the technical director, suspended for this game. But Devin, there's nothing like Las Vegas. Dolly and Dottie, and this is something else.
Don't forget Cash. Check him out, riding the Harley around the field. It's absolutely amazing. And Cashman Field is a sight for sore eyes, to say the least. It's interesting every game they host.
Certainly so. And this is an OKC side that's different than we've seen it in the past. Jimmy Nielsen not here anymore. Steve Cook's taken over. He led them to a lot of success.
News that really shocked the USL world is the fact that he wasn't going to be back. But I'll tell you what, if anybody could take his place, it's been Steve Cook. He's done such a good job coming in. And this is what he's going to put on the field tonight. And you see in the back line, first off, number 16, Brian Byers. An injury to Van Oekel has caused the change for that. We'll get to that in a minute. Ibiaga and Harris. Atiba Harris, a recent acquisition. The two of them may switch, but how about number 6, Drew Becky? He's come in and really locked down that back line. Absolutely amazing. Baril, obviously, Atuaheni on loan from FC Dallas. The kid can really fly on the left side of the wing.
You mentioned Brian Byers. There he is. He's the backup goalkeeper, but not anymore. We were told by Steve Cook he's the number 1 on Wednesday. He's been training under Lexi Vizarellis, the goalkeeping coach, since he was a youth. With Van Oekel's injury, which may require surgery, he's the man for the foreseeable future with Cody Lorendi still out. Here's the starting lineup for Las Vegas. Only one change. Nico Samayo has been recalled by New England, but he was injured anyways. Marco Jaime back from suspension.
And that's a big thing. Marco Jaime coming back. Ricardo Ferrigno and his antics. That'll be interesting to see if he can keep it at bay here this evening. One thing we haven't talked about, they've only got one road victory. So their ability to go on the road with the squad and get a victory has been very, very difficult. However, early on in the season, they had a lot of changes. The lineup we just saw, it's the 4th similar lineup we've seen in as many games. So when you start to carry 8, 9 guys on the pitch that are regularly there, those little nuances and the chemistry continues to build, and that's why we have seen the results from Vegas.
Pablo Mastroeni was sent packing by Colorado. Last year, Steve Cook was the interim coach. Around Thanksgiving, he got a phone call from Oklahoma City. He said, "We want to talk to you about a head coaching position." After a day and a half in OKC, he went home thinking, I hope I can land this job. It's his job now. And after early season struggles in which they won their opener but lost 9 straight in all competitions, they've woken up in a major way. OKC taking the field, and it's a Las Vegas Lights team that is as dangerous as anybody, especially in transition. And part of the discussion we had with both of these coaches, this game very easily should, probably will, be won or lost in transition. How does that affect the way Las Vegas wants to play?
It's going to affect everything. Make no mistake about it. And interestingly enough, I like what Steve Cook said. He said in this day and age, from a philosophical standpoint, everything is transition. If you can't control that, you can't coach. You can't play. And that's actually pretty smart. But that is their entire philosophy here. Vegas brings, just like the city of sin, a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. That can also work against them. But going forward in transition, you're going to see that. You're going to see the explosivity coming out of the back line all the way through to the guys up top in Sammy Ochoa.
Las Vegas is, by their owner Brent Lashbrook's estimation, for Vegas, by Vegas, of Vegas. Everyone saw what the Golden Knights did in the National Hockey League. NFL is coming soon, but professional soccer among the first pins to fall, bringing professional sports into the desert of Nevada. They in Reno, 1868, have brought a lot of intensity to the Western Conference in their couple years in the league. Las Vegas in their inaugural season can say nobody's been quite like them. They're in their neon-colored jerseys. Freddie Adu at the bottom of the center circle in the starting lineup. Philip Rasmussen, the first touch. White tops, green and blue accents for OKC Energy. We're underway in the USL Game of the Week on ESPN News. Out of the way by Carlos Alvarez. Christian Ibiaga back into the starting lineup. His brother Sebastian was playing in the New York Derby in MLS. Sebastian Ibiaga came on as a sub late for NYCFC, having starred at San Antonio last year. Alvarez pushing and shoving. And that's away from Francis Atuaheni, the 4th overall pick for Dallas. The Super Draft this year, it's a corner to OKC. Rasmussen. Kobayashi giving chase. Adu steps in, but Atuahene comes away. Look at Atuahene go. Played it through, and it's out of the reach of Jaime Sia.
How about the footwork from Atuahene coming in from the outside and really dancing on the ball. Remember watching him last year at the University of Michigan. A couple standout seasons for them. Drafted 4th by Dallas this year. He's been on loan a few times, and you can really see he makes an immediate impact. The guy can stretch the field. You just saw the fancy footwork, of course, and communication is a big thing for the Ghanaian. His ability to converse with the likes of Alex Dixon. We talked about Baril in the middle of the pitch, Jaime Sia up top. All of that comes into play, and that's not easy to do when you're not with the squad on a regular basis.
Rasmussen. Steered toward Rasmussen. Adu in pursuit. Hops off of Baril. Drew Becky goes to work. There's Brian Byers, 26 years old, a native of Oklahoma City, getting the chance between the sticks tonight. There is no backup goalkeeper. Cody Lorendi and Matt Van Okel are both injured. Alex Dixon lost the handle. Mendiola provided a real spark since joining the club mid-season. Eric Avila. Kobayashi, Becky backing into him. McLaws drops back. Murphy on loan from LAFC. See a long ball. And the first instance of Ricardo Ferrigno leaving his own 18.
A little advantageous from Jaime Sia from about 90 yards away. And then right on cue, Ferrigno has no problem stepping out to pick it up. But that's what you're going to see from the goalkeeper. He has no problem coming out anywhere on the pitch. He will literally use every portion of his body to help this squad out.
He's about as eponymous as any individual could be with a club that's this young. Ricardo Ferrigno is definitionally Las Vegas. Kobayashi out of the reach of Mendiola.
Interesting move from Steve Cook in the middle of the pitch. He's moved Callum Ross onto the bench and brought in Justin Chavez alongside Philip Rasmussen. Callum Ross has really been one of their mainstays in the holding midfielder position. You have to wonder in the last day or so if he picks something up possibly in training, causing that. Obviously such a huge name for the middle of this midfield.
Ross coming over from Charlotte over the offseason, and a guy who started each of the last 2 games. This is a stretch of 3 games in 8 days for OKC, sandwiched around a couple of 10-day breaks.
That's hard for a player. You really struggle to find a rhythm because you're on break. Okay, great. It's nice for there because you can do a lot of things tactically. Managers can put you through deep training sessions, and we're not talking about running left, running right, go get this, go get that. I mean, we're talking mental stuff that really digs deep into things and kind of pushes you to your limits on the focus of the game. A lot of times when you get into these situations where you're playing 3 games in 8 days, 9 days, whatever it may be, they lose the ability to have those tactical sessions. It turns into rest, repeat, recovery, all of that stuff, one after another. So you go play a game, you get done, you barely have time to talk about what just went on because you're worrying about your body and what's going to happen 4 to 8 hours from now.
McLaws to throw back in his hometown, Edmond, Oklahoma. Freddie Adu, former Wonder Kid, Alvarez off of a Tuaheni. He appeals for a handball. No whistle. Baril plays it ahead. Dixon stretches too far for a Tuaheni. Here's Jaime, who returns from yellow card suspension last time out. Adu. We saw a bit of this possession-heavy play last time out against St. Louis. A 1-0 win at home. Lone home game in July for Las Vegas. Murphy trying to build off the right-hand side. Avila. Avila has a blast. Caught by Byers.
It's not a bad look from Eric Avila. Interestingly enough, they've actually switched he and Carlos Alvarez, and that'll happen not only in the starting lineup, but throughout the game. You'll see them shift from side to side, and that's Isidro Sanchez just trying to give the opponent a different look and mess with their heads a little bit. Again, Vegas really haven't found a consistent starting lineup. Up until the past 5 or 6 games, you would literally see 7, 8 new guys every single time out, and that's where that chemistry comes into play that we talked about. But now, he and technical director El Chelis consistently starting 7, 8 regular players. And that's why you've seen them going forward. Things have changed. They've been able to lock it up defensively in the past, but now they're finding the net more frequently.
The Tuaheni and Alvarez pushing and shoving. Alvarez, a former 2nd overall pick in the MLS Super Draft. The Tuaheni, the most recent number 4 pick. I think John Freeman's going to go ahead and settle this himself. Alvarez will squatulate away. Ferrigno put it back in play. 9th minute. Ochoa is fouled from behind. That's Atiba Harris who went in. And Las Vegas is very proud of their ability on set pieces.
We could talk about that all night long, their ability to literally take a blackboard onto the pitch. They've got special names for everything. They practice it 20, 30 minutes every single training session. And Cedric telling us that they like to switch things up, and they don't want to tell us exactly what the names are because they use them differently for every game to keep everybody guessing. But see Samuel Ochoa trying to hold up play. OKC just getting a little stymied in the situation. See Daigo next to Carlos Alvarez, but Carlos Alvarez likes to have a rep from this distance. He can go with the left and the right. But the way it's looking like Daigo might serve this.
Kobayashi right into the wall. Tries to collect, and now maybe a chance to break out for Oklahoma City. What's the name of that set piece? On the turn, Mendiola. Adu. Stepping into this left-footed shot right to Byers. And Las Vegas, better of the early opportunities, 10 minutes gone.
That's called bring that one back and give us another shot, because you're not going to get many. Again, OKC Energy and their defense, they don't make a lot of mistakes, and especially not right outside the top of their box. Sean McClaws, Drew Becky, good at communication, and then Atiba Harris just stepping in next to Christian Ibiaga.
Sia, high bounce, caught by Ferrigno. I mean, you look at this back line, and now that Atiba Harris has come in, it's only added to the experience. Oklahoma City has one of the most experienced back lines in the USL now.
It's funny to think that, because starting off this season, not only could they not buy a goal, they couldn't keep a ball from the back of the net. It was ridiculous. But that's where it goes back to Steve Cook, and it's almost a trust the process type thing. They've made the right acquisitions, but he said he was very intent and said, listen, we haven't changed our ways. We haven't done anything differently. If he hasn't done anything differently, I got to know what's in that water, because they are pulling some serious victories and nice performances recently.
Cook's magic stuff.
Something. I'm sure it's something from his days at Carnegie, 16 years old, acquiring his first license, or maybe something for Sheffield Wednesday. Regardless, he's done a great job.
Ibiaga long throw, and the rip is in! Alex Dixon! Another highlight reel goal on ESPN for OKC. They just can't help themselves.
We just talked about set pieces and Las Vegas's ability to capitalize on them. On the other side of the ball, they put themselves in very poor position from the long throw coming from the sideline. And it's a good throw from Ibiaga. The flick on is nice, but the ball just slowly makes its way out to the top of the box. And Dixon, right on cue, steps up, right foot, no problem, you're welcome.
12th minute for Dixon, his 4th of the year. He's now scored in 2 games running. Mendiola, this game's picked up some intensity. Avila thrown off the ball. Clean challenge by McLaws. Atuahene circles around. Alvarez. OKC looking to find another. It's kicked out by Marcelo Alatorre.
It's a good challenge by the center back, drifting over and helping out the left back. But keep an eye structurally if they do anything different. Maybe 2 or 3 guys stacked in the same situation.
Well, we've seen this before. Dixon's not there to knock it home.
Steve Cook's smart. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He goes right back to the same guy. Jaime Sia standing at the top of the box. But that's something Isidro Sanchez, how do you not recognize that? You just got burnt on it less than 3 minutes prior. And you've got 5'9" Alatorre standing up against 6'2" Jaime Sia. You got to do better than that.
Byers is way out of his net. And they aren't going to be able to make him pay. He leapt over the ad board. Avila on the ground, kicked away by Drew Becky. Whose sister Janine, involved in a blockbuster trade over the offseason, plays for Sky Blue FC in the NWSL. Ball is headed and saved by Byers. Kobayashi robbed on the doorstep, and Byers coming up with a massive stop for OKC.
Daigo Kobayashi, usually the one who's serving these balls in, but this time Marco Jaime, a great ball to the back post. Kobayashi makes the most of it, gets in behind Atiba Harris, and right on cue, Brian Barris makes a great save.
And now the ball's in the net. Las Vegas has responded in the 15th minute. It's the captain, Alvarez. Keep one out. Las Vegas was bound to find one eventually. It's in the 15th minute, and it's 1-1.
Freddie Adu being smart down in the corner. Just a nice little 1-2 game coming out of the box. Smart overlapping run from Carlos Alvarez, and he's able to pick out that far post. Saw something eerily similar this year where he plays that tweener. Is it a ball knocked into the back post for a cross? Is it a strike? Regardless, it's able to tickle the nylon and tie this game up.
John Freeman whistles. As Alvarez, important goal there for Las Vegas to pull it back.
How's my prediction looking?
Better and better.
We can talk about that after the game.
Atuahene. Rasmussen was coming. He laid off. Farino's outside his net. Burrill. Dixon, touched by Rasmussen. Sia was racing in. Now Ochoa. Didn't see the forward run. Kobayashi knocked by Burrill. Advantage played. Murphy. Missed on a do, intercepted by Ibiaga. Ball knocked over the top. Murphy sought out Mendiola.
You can feel the energy is really lifted on the pitch between both squads, but Las Vegas doing a better job holding possession, trying to push OKC in the direction that they want them to. Semi Ochoa just seconds ago steps back into the middle of the park. Does a good job dropping into like a false 9-10 roll. As he turns, has Freddie Adu on the left-hand side streaking, but he holds the ball up. Then 4, 5, 6 passes later, coming all the way around. Finally tries to pick out Freddie Adu. Ibiaga says, no problem, thank you very much. That ball's got to be quicker and with more intent if you want to capitalize on the counter.
Kobayashi draws a big round of applause from his own sideline. Kobayashi has actually been training in Las Vegas over the off seasons since coming to the United States to play in MLS, both in Vancouver and in New England. In some ways, he's just as much Las Vegas as better part of half the team. Actually calls Vegas their hometown.
It's always nice from a coaching standpoint in an organization how you've kind of got that in your back pocket. We'll use Vegas, an ace in the hole, if you will, and your ability to just bring a guy in and almost a seamless transition. Unfortunately, his shape a little bit subpar, but I mean, the guy has shed a load of weight. You can see the mental capacity that he carries, his ability to pick people out, and the thinking process is usually just men amongst boys.
Avila knocking it onto the far touchline. Murphy erased by Justin Chavez. Off of Juan Herrera Perla. Bounces down to Sia. Alvarez is playing a pretty defensive role, all said, in this game to this point.
Well, you can see OKC really trying to capitalize on the right side of the pitch. That's where the goal came from, albeit from a throw-in, but still. Tua Henny has been up and down, and Badiel has been dictating the pace of play in that direction. Jaime Sia, even when he's dropping back, like you said, Mike, he's shielding to the right side of the pitch to help out.
Taken away by Burrell, plays it ahead. It deflects wide. Dixon making his dragging run through the 18.
Excellent ball movement. And Badiel finding the overlapping run of Dixon. He had that far post picked out. Almost positive Ricardo Ferrigno would not have been able to get his hands on that one. But still a great opportunity for OKC.
It's Rasmussen at the 20-minute mark. Two Las Vegas heads went for it. Both Alatorre and Jaime, another corner coming for the 29-year-old Dane. Rasmussen. Couple players go to ground.
Good look at James Murphy. He's someone who seems to have found his home here in Las Vegas alongside Kobayashi.
Missed clearance and a wave of white pushing across the halfway line. It's lobbed into the OKC half. Here's Chavez, spent last year with Tampa Bay. Kobayashi lost it to touch. Ibiaga. Now Atuahene. Atuahene showing off that blazing speed. He's cut all the way through. Atuahene! Well over the crossbar. That was a 50-yard run.
Atuahene showing you exactly why he was such a high coveted draft pick. And all of his skill set on full display in this run. And then it's just a soloist effort in every way, shape, and form. Unfortunately, could not cap it off. But there's the combination play on the right side of the pitch that we talked about, and they're trying to exploit it to a 10.
Alvarez brought that down well. Bounces off Rasmussen. Alvarez looking for more. Kobayashi. Kobayashi fires again. He's been enormous tonight. Looked like that may have skipped off the crossbar in the end. Myers showing the hop of a kangaroo to at least try to get to that corner.
Yeah, twice he's denied Daigo Kobayashi, telling him to leave it for the Llamas. Absolutely amazing stuff. And that goes back to what Steve Cook said. He goes, we don't have a second goalkeeper. And that goes both ways. He meant that in the sense of they literally do not have a rostered backup, but he also meant in the sense of these guys come in each and every day trying to make sure that they can hold form for the starting role.
Ball bounces kindly for Dixon. Pops it up towards Sia. Bounces to Ferrino. Second effort. Karam's out of play.
Obviously the style of play is different, but Jaime Sia has really shed some weight compared to last year in Charlotte. And Mike Jeffries and the Charlotte Independents, they're a little bit more methodical in their ways going forward. They like to hold the ball and hold possession.
Adu. Overlap coming from Alvarez. Goes to work on Ibiaga. Alvarez lofting. It's right to Byers.
And you have to wonder in the offseason acquisition of him, was that something that came into play? Because it's such a transitional offense, both last year and this year, you have to have the ability to continuously run on a regular basis. And Sia was used more in a supplemental role for Mike Jeffries last year, coming in kind of a super sub type role. But he has really done a good job cementing his spot as one of the boys up top alongside Christian Valesky.
Off Ochoa comes to Atuahene. Savage tackle from Kobayashi. A long diagonal doesn't play out. Taken away, stripped by Alvarez. Threaded through. Ochoa on the right. Mendiola tries to slip for Murphy. You can see what Las Vegas is trying to get at.
100%. And unfortunately in that situation, Mendiola just, his brain was thinking faster than his feet could move. Got a little ahead of himself. had Ochoa streaking on the right side. And keep an eye on that. Isidro Sanchez told us that even though Ochoa had been finding the net a little bit more frequently, he was actually a little frustrated with his striker because he wanted the number 9 to step back into the role and support his teammates. He wanted the ball to be held up. He wanted him to help the flow going forward, not necessarily be the focal point and the finishing note in this offense, that he wanted the experience to show to these boys. And that's when you see him drop back and come get the ball, watch out because they're going the other way.
Atuahene on the cutback, creating space, squaring it up, and Dixon and to double his efforts on the game. Alex Dixon has shown well.
And everybody on the offensive side of the ball really showing a show off tonight. Atuahene, he's smart, and there's a calculated person right there that you don't always see that from a youngster who's just come into the league. Drafty or not, he's smart. His lane closes down for his opportunity on goal, and he just waits for the trailing runner right at the top of the box. Alex Dixon, he's gonna be upset about that one. Made a mess of it.
Back heel from Mendiola just misses on Kobayashi. Chavez. Couple touches, Sia can't maintain. Chavez, Rasmussen. Brill waiting for the run to open up, and here's Dixon. Lofting for Sia, diving effort to nod that out of harm's way. Now Avila plays near the halfway line. Adu making his run at the bottom of your screen. And there he is, dragging backwards, opening up to the ball. Adu, nothing doing.
That's poor service from Freddie Adu. But you have to give him credit just moments before holding up his run. And then the other side of things, you can see Drew Becky telling him to slow down right now. Everything coming in transition, ball 30 feet in the air, and just has the composure to stand over it and knock it right to his holding midfielder.
Ochoa following Justin Chavez.
Sammy Ochoa just not really playing nice.
Does he ever?
It's hard to make friends like that. It really is. Trust me.
Truthfully, I think Ochoa's okay with that. You talk to Paul Buckle, his old coach in Sacramento. He's got a lot of fans in this league. Atuahene's speed not enough to catch up to this. Murphy involved.
He's in the 50-50 gray area, the frenemies.
By Socratic method, I'm saying that he's liked by this team, but everybody gets a chance to hydrate. Those jerseys, they can take some, but not quite 95-degree heat on the turf in Oklahoma City at Taft Stadium. And Devin, let's take a look at how this game's unfolded. Ibeagha getting this ball into the box, and Dixon, wow.
It's a combination of Marco Jaime and Sia both getting the head on it, just finds the top of the box for Alex Dixon, who makes the most of his opportunity. And then, look, just moments later, the set piece coming back into play once again. Carlos Alvarez and Freddie Adu. And we've seen them play that two-man game before. And again, I made the reference earlier, but Carlos Alvarez, he's smart. He just puts it in a dangerous area. Doesn't matter if he was going for glory or not, but finds the back of the net nonetheless.
Let's talk about this OKC side for a minute, because they made changes over the course of this season to try and bolster their roster, and they've had some really good players step into the equation for them. Christian Valesky is not in the starting lineup, but he's one of the players who came into this group. We've talked about Drew Becky ad nauseum on this conference call. He's something else. And you lose Cody Andrews to retirement, and he was one of the best center backs in this league over the last couple of years, and Jose Angulo was released by the side. It just wasn't all that good a fit. And OKC all of a sudden has picked up some energy and some positive results.
It was a weird transitional phase for them because coming into the close of the season last year, one of the hottest teams, not only in the Western Conference, but the USL, and they had a phenomenal run. And then from there, offseason, Jimmy Nielsen gone, so you think, okay, great, what do we have left? There's a little bit of rebuilding. Then, going forward, players step out, but the acquisitions are the biggest thing for me. Drew Becky, love him at the center back position. He's done a great job. Now, they have only had him for about 7 games, but he's done a good job. Jaime Sia coming in up top is another one, coming over from Charlotte. We've already talked about him. Obviously, their ability to have the relationship with FC Dallas and have some players loaned in has been a good thing for them as well. Atiba Harris, alongside Ibiaga, is going to be the final component defensively to help them get to Titletown.
Titletown, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting there. We're finding a way. I believe in them. I believe in the process.
Mendiola takes a hop through, and the Claws will take advantage. This ball bounce all the way out. On the other side, Las Vegas have made more changes than anybody in the league. Those are just the players coming in, and a couple of them are on their way in when the transfer window opens this week.
And I've got at least 8 from my addition over here. I'll have you check that in a second that have actually left the roster, but Mendiola's a big one. Steve Cook says that he's probably one of the most dangerous players for Las Vegas Lights going forward. That's a big one. Eric Avila coming in, switching from the right and left. And then in the next couple days, we'll see some of the other names. Daniel Guzman Jr., Omar Salgado, who has already got a pretty decent career going and was a big draftee by Vancouver back in 2011. He actually trained with Everton and Fulham in the offseason prior to that, and he's represented the United States and Mexico at both youth national levels, which is awesome, and he's now the first signee for guess who, Mike?
USL El Paso.
Attaboy.
And Rodrigo Inigo is set to join as well, a guy who's played under Chalice before. Like David Bowie would say, changes. Dixon chasing out of the shadows. Cast on the field in Oklahoma City tonight. Baril serving a Tua Henny. Couldn't direct that on target.
Unfortunately for Tua Henny, our referee's going to blow offside on him anyway, but it's good look. Good ball floated into the back post. He's showcasing that speed once again. Just need to work on the timing. How about all these players? I feel like I was ahead of my time. Used to have the long hair, the man bun, all that stuff. And I had the facial hair going. Every player on this pitch has a beard. I don't get it. I've missed my calling.
If you've been watching the World Cup, every time Alexi Lawless pops on your screen, they've got that photo of him from like 1998 in MLS. That's hair. That's hair.
I was really fortunate when the MLS was starting. They actually did preseason camps down in South Florida. They were using Florida Atlantic University and Lynn University, a Division II school, as their base camps. And they had loads of players coming down here. So at the ripe old age of 12, I got to interact with Tony Miola, Lexi Lawless, and all these guys are so kind. I've got loads of pictures. Unfortunately, didn't bring them in for show and tell today, but it's just really cool stuff, and I'll never forget, he's down here. Good friend of mine, Ben Werber, and I, we gave him a bracelet. He comes to visit in a regular season game about 4 months later, and that was his thing. He used to wear bracelets and rubber bands. Sure enough, right where I left it.
It's away from Adu. Stepping into it, Avila Kobayashi! He's unable to curl that toward the post. And it flies wide of everybody.
Kobayashi trying to follow suit with Carlos Alvarez. And now he got his goal. And his response to Alex Dixon and his wonder goal in the upper 90. Just trying to pick out that far post, but unfortunately found some gray area. And the game's hit a lull of sorts as of late.
Kobayashi, great run, Mendiola, and Byers comes off his line. Aggressive enough to slow the run.
Things just settling down, and Kobayashi said, yeah, watch this. Cheeky little ball played in behind. Mendiola tries to chip Byers, but Byers has shown us 3 or 4 times tonight that he is up to the task.
Henny. That's the wrong appendage. That's factually incorrect. That's a yellow card if I've ever seen one.
Oh, Francis. Francis so frustrated. Look at him. That's great.
Ugh.
He knew it too. He hit it. He got, oh, don't. Sorry, buddy.
Guy who missed time with an arm fracture, semi-ironically, in February. I mean,
you got to wonder what's going on in Ann Arbor.
A hand of God. That's such a cheap shot from a Penn State fan.
Oh, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to.
I'm from the Buckeye State. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I know.
Henny using the correct limb this time. Ochoa. Weighted that backwards to find Kobayashi. Torre. Well hit ball. Mendiola has provided a real spark of late. Adu clearly thought that was going to be a corner. Freddie Adu has more catcallers in this league than anybody else. And look, Brett Lashbrook and the team, they've been clear. They're not oblivious to Freddie Adu's history. But he took a year off. He rediscovered his passion for the game. He wanted to play. Las Vegas gave him the opportunity. And beyond being a good show, it's a move that he's grown into and the team has grown into.
You can still see glimpses from him as well. His ability to get back to form. And a lot of that, they said, you just touched on it. He's out of shape. And that's not going to happen over the course of 2 months. I mean, you're not going to get full match fitness in 2 months. That's just, it's non-existent. So he just needs to continuously gain reps like he's been doing. That confidence will grow. The touch is still there. But sometimes, kind of like what we saw from Mendiola earlier on, your brain is moving 100 miles an hour and your body just can't keep up.
Torre set to line this up. Him overs from Pumas, native of Guadalajara. Missed the opener. Going with his transfer certificate. Has since been huge. Ball lined into the area. Ochoa making a trailing run. Still alive through Mendiola, but Ochoa was in an offside position. Had to let that fly. USL Game of the Week on ESPN News. OKC scores what surely will be on Scott Van Pelt's show tonight. A wonderful goal in the 12th minute. Carlos Alvarez followed with a pretty good one himself, the 15th. This will be a goal kick.
And Henny doesn't like the call. Felt he got a deflection out of that one. I'm sure Steve Cook's right alongside him in that thought process.
He was an interesting guy to talk to.
Loved it. Loved every minute.
That's not to say we don't enjoy other coaches, but some just have a life backstory. Steve Cook's one of them. Where you're just drawn into it for minutes at a time.
You ask him a question, and he just continuously dives deeper, and so polite as well. He finished a question, said, "Not really sure if I answered that adequately." I said, "No, that was perfect." Absolutely amazing. And he'll go into his background, his personal relationships, everything. And he talked about his entire journey that he's had, not just from a coaching standpoint, but as a youngster and getting into this, starting with his father and a book that he received and making the decision at such a young age that, look, maybe this coaching thing is something to look into. Talked about the youth system in England and his thought process about it, at least back then.
Well, you've got that side of it, and then on the other side, you have El Chalice and Isidro Sanchez. The epitome of the Latin style of coaching. A group that said it's been all about learning these first 6 months with Las Vegas. Tua Henny deflects down.
It's always interesting to see the contrasting styles because Steve Cook didn't play, at least not past the age of 15 or 16, but the other two aforementioned, El Pedri, as Isidro is so well known by his compatriots, and El Chalice, the two of them have loads of playing experience and obviously coaching all over. And you know, they said coming into this league, they took it for granted a little bit, thought the play and style would be different, made some, not inappropriate, but just maybe ill-advised roster moves. But look, they said that we've made some mistakes in the past. We're not going to do the same thing over and over again. And that's the thing. Chalice says we've recovered our concepts. We're still going to make mistakes, but not the same ones. And that's what you've seen, their ability to translate their performance week in and week out. And it's okay if you make a mistake. It's okay if you mess up. But if you can grow from it and become stronger, which they have done, mind you, that's why you've seen the resurgence in form.
Harris in his OKC debut. Chavez. The Tua Henny, who's been all over the field in this first half, but has too strong a leading touch. Isidro's also been very clear. We will lead the league in yellow cards. That's going to happen. It's happened everywhere they've gone. And it's an extra talking to from Marco Jaime.
Both squads are actually in the top 15. Las Vegas, first for yellows, fourth for reds. OKC, 13th and 14th, but it's just two very physical squads.
Service is in! The lead doubled. It's Atiba Harris in his OKC debut. His OKC scoring output dormant at the start of the year. Doubled in a flash in this first half.
Could you ask for anything better just before halftime? You've hit the doldrums. It's quieted down. But Alex Dixon says, I can fix that. Came out with a spectacular first strike. Distribution this time around. Atiba Harris using that big body and frame, getting up and getting his first goal for OKC Energy. What a response from the home squad.
And you have to be ecstatic right before halftime. Alvarez fires, controls this. Las Vegas could easily have 3-4 goals in this first half, if not for that man.
Byers has definitely done such a good job keeping his team in this match. And on the other side of things, Tua Henny, Alex Dixon, they've both left opportunities on the drawing board here. I mean, this could be a 3-3 game at this point in time.
Sia bounces off of Tua Henny. That was deflected by a Vegas player on the way to him. Made that a bit more difficult. 2 minutes added time in this first half. Rasmussen the foul. Well, OKC is dead last in the league of 33 teams in goals scored. 15, 2 in the first half against Las Vegas. And a group that's now scored in 10 games running after that putrid offensive start to the season, showing that their chemistry and offensive ability are bubbling through as the summer reaches its apex. Is that your name on the app board over there? Wait for it. Coming. There it is.
I can't even capitalize it. Where's the respect? Get no respect.
It's no
respect
proper
at all.
noun. No. You'll get all the analysis from Devin at halftime. And we'll tell you about the newest addition to USL for 2019. Here's a hint. Rob Stone, the studio host for Fox, already has their scarf. Showed it off in their Red Square studio before the World Cup semifinal today. Atua Henny galloping into space and knocked off the ball. Here's Alvarez has drawn that mark for the match. John Freeman whistles for halftime. If you're OKC, you're ecstatic. You lost your lead, but you got it right back before the half.
You definitely threw yourself behind the 8 ball, not recovering on that set piece opportunity. But again, like you said, Mike, good response. They fought their way back into this match, and they're going to look you to carry that momentum into the second 45.
Atiba Harris, a name so well known out of St. Kitts and Nevis, picking up a goal of his own. It's Alex Dixon, the showstopper early, as OKC jumped on the board. 3 minutes later, Alvarez and OKC, the goal right before the half to take a 2-1 lead. Plenty coming up here at halftime in the USL Game of the Week.
You want to make a comparison? I mean, this is like a
Back with some great hairstyles on the USL Game of the Week on ESPN News. OKC Energy FC 2-1 lead over Las Vegas as we reach halftime. Welcome you into our booth alongside Devin Kerr, Mike Watson. In that first half, Devin, you're calling it a prize fight. I think that's a pretty accurate comparison.
That was crazy. I mean, the home squad came out, OKC Energy, and they were swinging punches all over the place. Got the early goal. Las Vegas responds right away. They counterpunch themselves. And then from there, it was kind of an ebb and flow of just back and forth. Who's going to be the one? Who's going to knock someone to the ground? We couldn't figure it out. OKC gets a goal just before halftime. Did a great job bringing it back, getting up 2-1.
Let's take a look at these first half highlights because you aren't going to want to miss them. 12th minute, fantastic goal. This from the very beginning had its fair share of high points.
And it's Marco Jaime and Jaime Sia getting into it right in the middle of the box, in the thick of things. And they're actually crediting this to Alex Dixon and only Alex Dixon. When it comes out, he just says, absolutely no problem. I'll take care of this. 1-0 OKC. And then Las Vegas says, hey, you know what? Anything you can do, I can do better. How many times did we see Kobayashi in the first half?
Kobayashi just fantastic. The Japanese player who was told the rhythm, the heartbeat, strong. Las Vegas making it work off their captain.
This is the biggest thing. It's smart because they go quick. Carlos Alvarez gets the ball back, finds the back post, and it's the only time that we saw Brian Byers not able to make a save in the first half. Kept them out of the back quite a few times. And then a Tuaheni. 1, 2, 3 times we saw a Tuaheni get by everybody. Unfortunately, couldn't close it out. And he really showed you. We talked about his speed. He put that on full exposition here in the first half. They need to continue to feed him in the second.
You see it, Tuaheni getting in behind again, this time squaring things up. Alex Dixon, the target, not quite as lucky this time.
Unfortunately, the composure that he had on the opening goal just wasn't resonated through this strike. You see him lean back, but again, Vegas coming back with their own uppercut, trying to find it anyway. Turns out to be a little jab. Another save by Brian Byers.
Byers fantastic in his first career USL start, and he would keep his team on level terms right up until the 45th minute.
It's a good response from the home squad because we hit about a 10-minute stretch where there was nothing. There was no real argument about who was winning the game, what was going on, but you could see OKC slowly creeping back into this. Dixon, great distribution, phenomenal finish by Atiba.
The offensive statistics for these teams probably wouldn't make you think these stats would be for this game at halftime. It's been a pretty good one.
It's very impressive for sure. And for Vegas, you can see they're carrying most of their possession because of that high press that they've been employing. OKC has been able to capitalize on that. But if they want to win this game, even though they're up 2-1, they need to exploit that from Vegas. Vegas needs to be careful on the same notion. On that counter, hold off a little bit. Settle down because they've been hit in transition and they've been hit twice. They've had to pay.
So plenty of highlights in that first half and plenty more to come as fans bearing through the heat and enjoying the match that has been through 45 minutes at Taft Stadium in Oklahoma City. When we come back, we'll tell you a bit about the USL's latest news and notes and the newest members set to join in 2019. Big news of the day in the United Soccer League. Hartford, Connecticut is next to join the USL in 2019. Bruce Mandel, Jake Edwards, president of the league, Luke Bronin, the mayor of Hartford, Alec Papadakis, the CEO of USL, saying Hartford a 6th edition to the USL for 2019, strengthening the league's presence in the Northeast, a thriving city that boasts a rich soccer history. So they're the big news of the day. Reno is the big story on the field, and Las Vegas fans don't want to hear it. They've been great.
And they can thank Brian Brown for that, as he was voted the player of the week this week. 3 goals in his last 2 games, one of which coming this past Sunday in a comfort-behind victory versus, guess who? S2. Who would have thunk it? But I'll tell you what, it's going to be on Exposition tonight, seeing exactly who can get that done. 9-0-6 in that time frame, but they're taking on Los Dos at 10:30. So it's going to be interesting to see how long this streak is going to last.
And Alex Timbakis has been pretty good as well for North Carolina as they try and scrape up the Eastern Conference standings. So that's a look at some news and notes from around the league. Surely that's what they're looking at on USLsoccer.com. They're on that cell phone. It's 2-1 OKC over Las Vegas. As we'll come back to tell you about the upcoming USL on ESPN schedule when we return. Back to the USL Game of the Week, and this just a Game 3 of 6 on ESPN Linear Networks over a 7-week stretch over the summer. FC Cincinnati, Devin, has these giant crowds at Nippert Stadium. They face a Charlotte Independence side that Mike Jeffries has beginning to go in the right direction again. And it's on ESPN2 next Wednesday night. And for the Charlotte Independents, they're just trying to get back on track. Jeffries, one of the people in this league who does such a great job organizing his squad, but his performances and Independence's performances have fluctuated a lot, and he's got to figure that out.
Alan Koch, on the other hand, FC Cincinnati, they are in the driver's seat with everybody in the rearview mirror, saying if you want to come and play, come catch up. At this point in time, roads through Nippert, at least in their eyes.
Well, Louisville City has something to say about that. They're in action that night, too. It's worth mentioning that Lou City is the lone remaining USL team in the quarterfinal of the U.S. Open Cup. They'll be away to the Chicago Fire. James O'Connor moving on to Orlando last week. If they win, Louisville City and Orlando were to beat Philadelphia, they could see their former coach in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal. That's all a long way away. We've got plenty of action coming up here on ESPN News. Las Vegas scoring an equalizer 3 minutes after Alex Dixon's cracker of a goal. Alvarez in the 15th. Tiba Harris, go-ahead mark in the 45th. And a false start to begin the second half of play. And now we're good to go for the second half. Kobayashi in some early trouble. Siago's rushing through. It's a throw for Las Vegas. What did you like about Las Vegas in that first half of play?
Well, first off, I like the fact that they use their emotion in a positive manner. So many times from them, we've seen they go behind or they get into a precarious situation and they can't fight back. They let their emotions override them and it pulls their entire game plan away. That wasn't what you saw from the Lights. Isidro, even though they were down, they knew they weren't out, had a great response, not only in general, but an immediate impact right away within the next 5 minutes. And that's what a coach is going to tell you. On the other side of things, OKC Energy, they did a great job moving the ball forward in transition. But interestingly enough, even though Dixon got the goal, we really haven't seen him in channel play on the left. He's been tucked in a lot, and they've been trying to exploit the right side of the pitch. I think if they could balance things a little bit more and incorporate the left side, it's going to open up space on the right side for Tua Henny and that blazing speed we saw in the first half.
Alatorre thought this was a goal kick. It won't be the case. A corner for OKC just about a minute out of the first halftime, rather, intermission. Service over Sion Ibiaga. Drives it into the bleachers. Ibiaga just barely knocking that over the crossbar. Farino. Avila can keep that in. See, I knocked off the ball. Burrill tried to thread it through, and John Freeman initially showed for advantage. Goes all the way to Farino. Farino off the head of Mandiola. Alatorre. Kobayashi knocked the ground, play on. That was Atiba Harris. Myers trying to play Sia. Flag is up for offside.
Sia just gets caught ball watching. A tiny touch, and Marco Jaime had the right move anyway, knocking it back to his goalkeeper.
Perla has to readjust his ankles. Drew Becky charges forward. Wonderful bit of play to set up Dixon by Burrill. Dixon couldn't play it beyond rushing right wing. That's Burrell in a nutshell, isn't it? Sometimes you don't even notice he's there, and then he pulls a trick like that out of his hat.
It's the consistency that we talked about at the top of the broadcast, and the ebb and flow. He kind of floats in and out of the match like you just mentioned, Mike, but always has an ever-presence about him. Never really blowing you off the sheet with stats, but never causing his team any worries either.
Ibeagha goes to ground. That's Freddie Adu. When we looked at Burrell, we were talking, how do we want to highlight him and what do we put on a graphic? And we go, 1 goal, okay, 1 assist, fine. 82% passing, and he doesn't pass in the cheap areas all that often. Ibeagha serves Sia. That's easy money. OKC out in front, 3-1.
The quick strike ability has been on the forefront of this squad's minds all night long. Ibeagha moved from central position outside to the marking back. Now it's coming off a throw-in, but it's still a great ball whipped into the back post. Another set piece coming into play here tonight. Sia trails his run. He's very, very smart with the back line. Las Vegas loses him in translation. Sia to the back post. See you later.
Former Real Madrid Academy product. Guy who was in Colorado with Steve Cook. Was a draftee, went to Charlotte to deal with some training compensation issues. And really impressed in the latter months. The Independents. That's his 4th goal of the season.
His body type, again, I brought this up earlier, but dropping weight, he's changed. You can see he's much more muscular compared to last year's physique. And you could see just stepping back, his ability to contort and shape-shift himself to get down low and get ahead on that ball. We didn't see that from him last year.
Rasmussen is still down, grabbing for his left leg. He had a season-ending injury in June of last year. Has come back and impressed this year.
The good news for OKC Energy is for most of this match, we haven't really incorporated Rasmussen or Chavez into our talking points, and that's not the worst thing to have from your holding midfielders, but that is a late one on Rasmussen.
That's one where you look at Ochoa and think maybe that's a yellow card if it's seen. You say it's late and the play's going the other way, you got to think the referee is looking another direction too.
There's definitely been some inconsistency from our head referee, John Freeman, this evening, but on a positive note, he hasn't overly influenced the game in a negative manner, so that's a good thing. There's been ups and downs, but it's been a little bit bipartisan for both squads, so it's not the worst thing.
Rasmussen returns, certainly nothing to demonstrate Ochoa for. Sia, brilliantly done! Ferrino slaps it away with 2 hands. Ferrino just kept Las Vegas in this match. I'd say single-handedly, but it took 2. And the problem with both coaches talking about transition being the difference in this game is once OKC has a 2-goal lead, it's going to be real hard to catch them in transition. Las Vegas pushing numbers forward, and OKC can get out on the run. Ricochets away from Burrell, goes to ground, and he grabs at the feet of Adu. Now he and Adu in a shoving match. Adu's clearly not done.
You can see the intensity from both squads really heating up, and this is what I talked about. Las Vegas getting caught out a little bit, and their temper starting to flare, getting the best of them. Now there's no reason for Baril to step back in here on Freddie Adu. The foul's already over with, and Adu has an emotional response that is unwarranted. You're frustrated, I get it, but you're also down 2 goals. There's no reason to put yourself out there like that. He's definitely gonna get a yellow in this situation.
John Freeman has a decision to make. Seth Barton and Diego Blas are the 2 ARs. It's a little bit more than just some Baba Booey here.
It's one of those things from an antics standpoint. Okay, Freddie's upset. He gets up and shows some frustration. Now your captain has to step in. Carlos Alvarez, go in there, go get him. Settle down, let's comment, let's get back to basics. That's been their whole mantra for the past couple matches.
There's Baril into the book. Jaime gets a yellow card. He was a late addition to that whole endeavor. Huh, lot to sort out. Kobayashi, is this the spark for the lights? Baril, clever stuff, clips it over the top, chested forward, Dixon! And a two-a-heady now! That should be lights out time. 3-goal lead for OKC.
Las Vegas Lights not happy with the referee. They think this come off of Atuahenni's arm. Referee pointed to his chest right away, but again, transitional play, the focal point for Energy going the other direction. You thought maybe Las Vegas has clawed their way back in, but it's a teasing ball in. And right there, ooh, that is gray area. That's questionable from our referee, because his arm definitely goes out. But either way, OKC Energy capitalizing on the lack of composure from Las Vegas Lights. Dixon brings it down. Great save by Ferrigno. And as he comes out, oh, that is definitely off the arm. And you can understand the frustration by Isidro and every other player by this Las Vegas Lights organization. That should not have been a goal.
Well, Isidro's frustrated. You can understand why. It was a good save by Ferrigno at the outset. Of course, Atuahenni committed one of the most heinous yellow card-worthy handballs we've seen in some time earlier in the match. The one that matters most goes unpunished. And OKC has flown out of the gate after that late first half goal. Goal in the 51st from Sion, another one in the 58th from Atuahenni. I think from John Freeman's standpoint, he's running in from behind. You see him come into the frame, and Atuahenni's arm is opposite, it appeared, from where Freeman saw it. But still then, you would think an AR on the opposite touchline would have a good view of that.
Was just going to say it might be difficult for the center ref in transition, but at the same point in time, play is so wide open, there's so much space to be seen and had that in that counterattacking option, the only thing that the linesman has his eyes on at that point in time is coming from Dixon, and then he follows the ball, because as the rebound comes through, is Dixon going to be in an offside position off the save from Ferrigno? So he's following that directly to Atuahen's arm. There's no reason either one of them should have missed it.
Harris. At the hour mark, the Beast in OKC is wide awake, 5 unbeaten, 3 wins in that span, a couple of draws. Stolen away, Kobayashi. Avila! Kick save, Byers. What could have been real inflection point for Las Vegas. It is a very thin bench tonight for Las Vegas. Kobayashi coming off. Alex Mendoza comes on. This is a group that looks forward to adding 3 players at minimum start of the transfer window, but their transfer certificate's not over the line yet. It's made for a thin start to the road trip.
Unfortunately, the players that have come in and out, and we've already talked about that, but the new acquisitions, because of clearances, haven't made their way to the sideline yet. Isidro telling us he really hoped they were going to be available for the match tonight. And then injuries, quite a few. And they've been plaguing this squad. One Carlos Garcia, known as Quebecia, he's on the bench tonight, but he's had a lower body injury, what seems like forever. Matt Thomas, first ever Las Vegas Lights goal. He's out with a lower body injury as well, but look, I get it. It's frustrating, and you've had some calls against you. But look, you've proven that you can compete with this squad. You've still got plenty of time to try and get something going in this match.
Well, what's more, Las Vegas has exfoliated their roster a bit of late with guys that maybe just didn't see eye to eye with the franchise. Zach Mathers came in for a stretch of about a half dozen games. Julian Portugal played in 13, but left the club this week. They're still kind of buffing out the scratches early on, trying to field the team that's right for them. That stayed in play through Ochoa.
Mike, you take a look defensively at what the Lights have brought to the field tonight. Unfortunately for them, and this isn't their fault, Nico Samayoa, who came in as a loanee from the New England Revolution, played fantastic last game out, was actually rewarded with his efforts for Team of the Week nod. But New England said, you know what, you're playing so well, come back and join us. So he's headed back to the Revolution.
A do that flies over everybody. Alvarez, goal scorer for Las Vegas. Wonderful curling effort in the 15th that leveled the match. OKC 3 goals since just before the halftime whistle. Mendiola. Mendiola from the hold-up play of Ochoa. Adu. A runner coming up the left-hand side. This is Alvarez. Byers is there.
I know we've seen a lot of stuff on the offensive side of the ball, but that's got to be the man of the match right now.
Yeah.
What he's brought to this game for OKC Energy, taking nothing away from the injured boys in Cody Lorendi and Evan Okul, but to just step into this situation with all of this emotion and a nationally televised game and bring the goods is extremely difficult.
He made an enormous save just minutes after coming into the game, where he replaced Van Okul. 1-1 draw against Colorado Springs. One which Steve Cook said at the end, can't be too greedy. You lose your goalkeeper, you'll take 1-1.
And that's something that, look, when you start to find form, you get a result. You know, you don't give up that second goal. You don't, woe is me, put your head down, lost our starting goalkeeper, second one in the past 9 months. You continue to prosper and persevere. And that's the message that Steve Cook has brought to this organization. And going further into that, it kind of resonates throughout the entire process where he says, you know, I'm not just worried about the next 45 minutes or the next 90 minutes. I'm looking 3, 4, 5 years down the line. You touched on it earlier on, Mike. He said, you know, I don't want to just come in here and coach. I want to be involved in the community. I want to build the organization, the academy, everything. I mean, and he actually is frustrated.
Comes to Mendiola. Las Vegas takes one back. Don't blink, the lights are back on.
According to Steve Cook, and we'll get back to him, the most dangerous talent on the pitch for Las Vegas Lights. Mendiola, head on a swivel. Where is he? Sure enough, back post, Sean McClaws gets lost. He gets caught ball watching here as it bounces to the middle. Drew Becky cannot get a clearance appropriately on the ball. As a center back, you got to do better than that. Clears it right into the path of Raul Mendiola. And he's able to claw his squad back in within 2.
Goals in 2 games running, at the game winner against St. Louis last time out. What we say in the open. Whatever you think you know about Las Vegas, forget it.
And sure enough, I said, you know, look, you guys haven't played well at the start of the second half. You're down 3 goals. You got 30 minutes left.
Yeah.
They've got 1 in the next 5. Another 24 minutes left over.
Tuahenny was checking his watch as he ran away from that earlier goal that made it 4-1. Tuahenny giving chase to this. May have been counting time a little too soon.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but my addition skill set has been on point tonight.
Top notch.
Top notch.
Biaga tossing in. This will reach toward the corner flag.
I'm sure there's some few choice words coming the direction of the Energy at this point in time. That's one of those ones where you get in a groove, come out, you're up 4-1. Home game, cruising. Just switch off a little bit.
Athletic trainer being waved onto the field by John Freeman. That's Dixon, who looks to get a knock up high from Mendoza.
There's no malintent in the challenge from Mendoza. 2 guys just stepping up, going for a 50-50 ball. Took one on the corner of his noggin. And obviously in this day and age, all trainers stepping in, make sure everything's okay. Don't want to mess with a head injury whatsoever. Good chance for all the boys to grab a water and kind of regroup and figure out how the next 20 minutes or so are going to play out.
Dixon, a Dynamo homegrown, time in PDL, went to North Carolina for 3 years. Came in and provided a real pop. Jimmy Nielsen, the former head coach, referred to him as one of the 3 best one-on-one wingers in all of USL. He's been on point tonight. Hope that he's good to continue on. This is Avila through Ochoa. Crossfield ball intercepted. Only for a moment, Mendoza. Freddie Adu. Adu crossing. Avila will get there, cuts it back.
And now Mendiola makes it 2. Las Vegas is third. It's Mendoza. Comes off the bench. Provides the spark. And in the 70th minute, watch out.
Only time will tell. Atuaheni pointing too early. Mendiola, a little bit of magic left in him from this Las Vegas squad. And you could see it's not over yet. The emotion and passion that had overtaken them on that challenge with Freddie Adu and Baril has pushed them to within 1 of OKC energy. It's been a great response from the visiting squad.
Atuaheni out. It's his goal now that's the difference. And on comes Richard Dixon. Well, this game is warmed up in a giant way. There's Mendiola. By the way, he's got the wrong pants on. The pants say 14. He's right in the thick of this defensively. Sia dispossessed. Well, there's a kit man who's going to be on the wrong end of some words post-game.
Well, the question is now, does number 14, Alex Mendoza, is he wearing 40?
Well, no better time to find out than the present. Mendoza tossed to ground viciously. It's Rasmussen. No, there's 2 14s.
Look at that. It's going to be a fun conversation in the locker room.
It's the game within the game, my friend. Baril. There's the overlap. Alex Dixon. Dixon! It's a goal fest at Taft. Wow.
Ricardo Ferrigno just shaking his head in utter disbelief. Alex Dixon, we saw Atuaheni with the burst of speed. This time Alex Dixon coming over to the left side of the pitch. He had moved to the right in the second half. And Alex Dixon, how cool is that? The precision to just maintain your wits about you right at the top of the 6. And he goes to the back post for his brace. OKC Energy proving that they've got the fight left in them as well.
Nothing cromulent about that. Wow, OKC reasserting themselves. Mendiola sitting on a brace. Too far for Ochoa. Byers will collect this.
Just turning into target practice for all the strikers up top.
Both these teams have been looking around. Where has this been?
Right? We were giving all the hype to the defensive units and their ability to come together from a cohesive standpoint. Apparently they left that on the bus. Don't worry, boys. We'll get it.
The 4 goals they had in their first 10 games, OKC, and they've dropped 5 on the night. Rasmussen. Gosh, is there more? Dixon dragged out wide. Bounces off Rasmussen.
It's a hospital ball by Dixon.
Mendiola reached the USL Cup final with LA Galaxy 2 in 2015. Murphy, Adu. Never say die spirit from Las Vegas blossoming here in Oklahoma City. Adu. Out of the reach of Ochoa.
Well, Callum Ross comes in. That's enough for Jose Barril. He'll play in a similar area of the field, I would think, Devin, but Callum Ross can settle things down.
Wouldn't be surprised if Steve Cook is going to shift his boys into a 4-1-4-1 here and compact the middle of the pitch that has been open for the past couple minutes. And he'll tell you that the fluidity of his formation, he doesn't really like to talk numbers, but you have to have a premise and guideline to go by. And you can just see right there, he said, we're going to switch. You just have to condense the middle. Mendiola has been running rampant.
See, if he gets there, this is trouble. If you think this is fun, wait till next Wednesday. Cincinnati, Charlotte on ESPN2. USL Game of the Week goes to Nippert Stadium, July 18th. For now, 8 goals in just over 75 minutes. Mendiola. Mendiola keeping with it. Drew Becky involved. Jaime steered back into the 18. Murphy clips the ball, headed away. Biaga helping to lead the charge. Sia trying to get in behind Ferrigno. Oh!
There he is. I told you. The man, the myth, the legend. But as much as we can criticize him at certain points in time for all of his movements, if he doesn't step out in that situation, Sia is going to be in one-on-one.
I know some soccer players just abhor the concept of sweeper keeper, but Ochoa collects, plays across. Avila to lead himself into the shot.
I used to play with a goalkeeper like that growing up, and ball comes over the back. I'm chasing it down. This comes through. I'd see him come running. Get back in your home. But look at him. I mean, he's smart. See how you can't see on the outside of it, but he's stepping on the left side. One touch in front of him, and he's going to have Ferrigno dead to rights on his goal line. So it's smart by the goalkeeper to step out and make the play.
He played a preseason friendly against Montreal at Cashman Field. And there just came a point, the post-game interview, Michael Salazar said the team thought, okay, go get him. If he's going to dribble the ball to the halfway line, let's go get him. Ended up taking advantage of Ferrigno a bit on the day. Picked up by Byers, the pride of the University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma.
Drovers. The Drovers, that's their mascot.
Yeah?
Yeah, look at that one, huh? Bet you didn't think that was on the board, did you?
No chance. Really?
Yeah, the Drovers.
Got an offer from them back in the day, didn't you?
No. Yes.
Service, Sia! Too high. That's how close OKC were to a sixth.
Everything that we've seen from OKC Energy, how has he not found the back of the net yet? Great ball in from Richard Dixon, the substitute. Sia just trying to get a touch on it. The back line of Las Vegas has had their hands full. The three-back system has not been the best of looks for Isidro Sanchez and his boys tonight.
Adu for Vibiaga. 12 crucial points on a 4-game road swing for Las Vegas. Shown good resilience. They want more. Take an odd skip on the diving header from McLaws, a corner on the way. Richard and Alex Dixon close to the corner flag. It'll be a or Alvarez. Alvarez in swinger off of Ochoa. Byers will make the catch. Well, that may have been a moment of inexperience.
It took the words right out of my mouth. There's no reason for him to do that. 10 minutes left on the clock, up 2. Now's the time to step on it and slow the game down. Let the ball do the work for you, make Vegas chase.
Second ball gobbled up again here, Murphy. Murphy, the fulcrum, Avila, dancing, Jaime, Oklahoma City pinned in. Las Vegas tries to climb just a bit closer. Jaime, Adu, works on Ibiaga. Created the space, Adu to Byers.
It's been a disconnect from a distribution standpoint. Good ball movement by Vegas, but when they've gotten down into the channels and knocked something into the mixer, there's no one on the end of it. That's where you'd like to see the likes of Sammy Ochoa. Obviously Mendiola a little bit smaller, but still got some ups on him. And Carlos Alvarez, he's been quiet in the past 15 minutes, and especially from the resurgence of the lights, you expect him to be on the ball more. Right on point. Got to get to the ball into your playmakers if you want to give yourself another opportunity in this closing stretch.
Difficult to understate how important this game is for Oklahoma City. Sia steps in and at his feet. The runner's coming. Callum Ross. This is their 19th game of the year. They really struggled at the outset last year, but this year an entirely different story. 8 straight losses after an opening win against their in-state rival Tulsa Roughnecks. 5 unbeaten. They point now to 9 games back when they began to turn this thing around. A win doesn't put them in playoff position, but it moves them closer. 6 unbeaten, they'd be one of the hottest teams in the league. Adu again, space to work with. Ibiaga's been under pressure in this second half. Adu lobbing again, the service is just off the mark.
That's the biggest thing for this OKC squad, Mike, is the belief. It'd be real easy to pack it in and mail it home 10 games into a season, 30% of the way through and just at the bottom of the table looking up. But as you said, win tonight puts them at 21 points. 4 or 5 off the pace. Vegas on the other side of things, although still time left in this game, they have to remember that they've got games in hand. We briefly touched on that. 2-3 games behind most squads, where theoretically in virtual standings, even after a loss tonight, carrying 2 in hand, that's 6 more points. That puts them in playoff contention and beyond. So still a lot of opportunity left for both these squads, even considering the rocky starts that we've talked about.
Change coming. Alex Dixon just tremendous tonight. There's Christian Velasquez, the Vegas kid. The Las Vegas Lights had their eyes on when he was available from St. Louis. Weren't able to corral him. He's found a very willing home in OKC.
Hats off to Alex Dixon and his performance this evening. We saw him all over the pitch, and he was definitely the focal point of this offense tonight. We give a lot of credit to Burdell and his ability to pull the strings, but Dixon really opened things up on the outside. And it was funny because I talked about them spreading the wealth a little bit in the second half. Interestingly enough, not only did they do that, they flip-flopped them on sides. Dixon in the first half playing on the left but tucking in. In the second half, he went out on the right, and all the space was over there. So obviously, Steve Cook liking the matchup against the left side of the Las Vegas Lights.
Ibiaga arrives. Jaime bounces down. Becky tossed aside, and Richard Dixon. Backstopped by Alatorre. Driven long, Byers coming out, two-fisted punch. Mendoza. There's that man again, Ricardo Farino. Yes, this is happening. Velasquez. Velasquez, space. Won't be able to get the shot off. Gotta think this means a little bit more to him. That's a yellow card to Callum Ross, the extracurriculars. If Las Vegas can get one, maybe they've got a chance to do. Dixon twice, Sia, Harris, and Atuahene for OKC. Mendiola twice. He's now got 4 goals, 6 games for Las Vegas since signing on May 31st. Alvarez, his 5th of the year. Leaves us on a 5-3 scoreline. Tiba Harris excited about the project. Came available, his contract terminated in Mexico. He's known Steve Cook for a while. Made that phone call. Immediate dividends. 90 seconds plus stoppage separate OKC. Their most thrilling win of the season. Dixon, pass cut out. Ross. Touch from Jaime.
That was probably the biggest thing Steve Cook said to us, was that not only the guys that he talked to from an ownership standpoint and management, but that the personnel that he was bringing in It's not just we're bringing you in for 90 minutes, we're bringing you in for training, and we want to make the team better. It was all about their ability to impact this squad and what his big picture was. And the project, he used that word a couple times with us, the project that he was associated with, the project they were looking forward to. And how everybody has really bought into it. I tell you, you and I, Mike, we talked multiple times off camera at the beginning of this season and what was going wrong in OKC. Things are definitely going right now.
Well, advantage was played. Valesky and Sia throw their hands down in disappointment. They thought this ball was coming to them. 4 minutes at a time. OKC has largely dug themselves out of a giant hole. Still work to be done. This is their 19th game of the year. They'll be sitting now on 21 points if the result holds. Ways to go to be in the playoff chase. Mendiola squares it up for Alvarez. Ross. Toe pokes it away.
This is one of those what ifs nights, Mike, where it's you look back and what if the whistle's blown on a Tuaheni and that goal is called back? What if they don't gain that momentum? What if the game ends up being tied after that situation and OKC doesn't grab 2 more back? Going to be frustrating from a management standpoint in Isidro Sanchez, but I'll tell you, this is probably, outside of that stretch in the second half of about 10 minutes, this is probably the best they've looked on the road. Now, they weren't able to get a result, but still they've showed good perseverance throughout this game. It would have been real simple at 4-1 to put your head down and crawl back into your shell, but that wasn't the case. 2 quick goals from Mendiola, bringing them within 1. But again, Steve Cook keeping the troops organized and getting them back on track. Definitely the difference maker here this evening.
Rasmussen. Valesky wants this. This will go begging. Lest we forget, OKC is the old guard. 2 conference finals in the last 3 years. Falling to LA Galaxy 2 in 2015. Falling in one of the longest penalty shootouts we've ever seen. The goalkeepers involved by the time it was done against Swope Park last year. That's how close they were getting over the hump, playing in the USL Cup final, despite finishing second 3 years ago. And on the road to open the playoffs each of the last 2 years. Valesky! Oh, Valesky, this is all his. He celebrates with Oklahoma City. Family in Las Vegas surely looking on. It's the exclamation point.
Not much you can do here for Las Vegas Lights as Christian Valesky just shows off his pace. Shows off his ability to read the defense. What a classy ball in. Nice little touch by Ferrigno. And Valesky, and it shows you his character that he carries. Gets done, runs right to the fans, the grid, showing their love for the Las Vegas native. You got to understand what that means to that guy right there.
32 career USL goals. A stud in Rochester. And tonight, just a little bit more. Add to his resume. Isidro Sanchez told us he's got a list of players he wants in the United States. Valesky is among the top names on that list. Burns him on the night as a second half sub. Mendiola. Oklahoma City drops a 6th spot on the night. A giant victory at home over Las Vegas. One giant step closer toward the playoff picture. Murphy skips all the way through. Mendiola! It's a hat trick! Right at the death! Oh, it's a gorgeous touch! This game just kept on giving, start to finish.
Brian Byers has shown us world-class saves all night long, but you can see OKC just checks out. They're expecting the shot. It comes off on the deflection. It's a poor clearance by Atiba, and it just finds its way to Mendiola, who makes the most of it. You gotta feel bad in a performance like that, where he puts up a 3 mark and you still lose. I mean, you gotta feel for the kid.
Oklahoma City in the biggest shootout of the season, outlasting Las Vegas at the depth, 6 goals to 4. We'll wrap it up when we come back. Sia proves to be as big a goal as they came. Mendiola, a second-half hat trick. Never let lights fall away from this one. But in the end, it's Dixon and the Energy who pull away. Final score 6-4. Wrap it up when we come back. All right. Oh my God.
Oklahoma City franchise record for most goals scored and most goals combined in a game.
Okay, thank you.
That's it? Perfect. I just wrote them all down, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
12.
Didn't see this coming.
Los Dos beat him 7-3 a couple weeks ago.
Hey, brilliant.
Look at that. 12th minute, 15th minute, 44.
All right.
So here, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
10.
What am I missing the last one? Oh, Mendiola, last one. What was that, 93rd minute?
Yeah, well, the grid has to appreciate the results from those two. Valesky, the final goal for OKC in a 6-4 win. Dixon, the first. As this was one tremendous game in the USL Game of the Week. Back in the booth with Devin Kern. Whoa, buddy. Wow, 6-4. Who saw that coming? Whew.
Take a breath. I told you, Vegas, expect the unexpected. It was a roller coaster to say the least, a heavyweight prize fight. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, OKC Energy just found a way to get it done. You saw some clinical finishing, solid character by Las Vegas, but it was too much for the home squad in OKC Energy.
Devin, here are the highlights. There are a lot, so let's do it quick. It starts with one of the goals of the day, surely, for Dixon.
Alex Dixon, how good was this? Just steps up. It's a solid finish to the back post. The visitors respond right away. Alvarez gets in on the act in the 15th minute. Dixon early on with his strike, this time with the distribution. Atiba Harris finding the back of the net. And then things really started to open up in the second half. Alex Dixon was all over the place. They moved him from the left to the right, opened up a lot of space. Atuahene found it twice in the 44th and then the 57th. And then this, poor clearances by the defense of OKC. Mendiola, not once, not twice, 3 times, proving that he had the form to help keep his squad in it. But again, too little, too late from the visiting squad as OKC was able to edge this one out.
Dixon, another phenomenal goal as he would finish on a brace, that in the 72nd minute. Valesky rounds everybody. We think that's it, and then this. Goodness, wow.
Again, you and I looked at each other expecting the end of game whistle, but Mendiola, smart man. You learn it when you're young, play till the last whistle. He did that. What a solid performance by him, but unfortunately pulls up a little bit.
That was a brilliant minute-and-a-half long reason to watch ESPN2 next Wednesday, huh?
Whew. I mean, the offensive firepower that both those squads possess, it's going to be interesting. I'm not exactly sure we're going to see 10 goals in that game, but hey, join us and find out.
Well, you can expect a crowd of 20,000 plus at Nippert Stadium. That's par for the course. Then we're on ESPNU and ESPN News in the weeks that follow. 6-4 final. OKC, 6 unbeaten, 21 points now in 19 games. They're right back into the playoff race. For Las Vegas, the start to their 4-game road swing goes by the wayside, but they show good resilience down the stretch. For partner Devin Kerr, producer Abe Aponte, Eddie Suarez, Paul Beam, Mike Friedman, and our entire crew in Oklahoma City. Mike Watts saying thanks so much for watching. OKC a winner. It's a shootout. 6-4. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.